Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live on Monday and Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel. Before I get started, I need to go through the risk disclosures. General disclosure, trading all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure. Trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. You can contact me on Discord. My name is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X. My name there is @DougPless. Here are the key tenets to my approach to trading. This is the basis of my approach to trading. I believe that options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price in many stocks and futures, and certainly in the large cap tech stocks like the Magnificent Seven stocks, as well as the equity index futures like the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index, SPY is the ETF version of that index, and the ES futures contract is a derivative of SPX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with the ES futures. And for the Nasdaq 100, NDX is the underlying index. QQQ is the much more liquid ETF version of that index, and the NQ futures contract is a derivative of NDX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in NDX and QQQ, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with NQ futures. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups. And when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset. Setups in that asset can be taken with futures contracts, shares of stock, or options, depending on the way you like to trade in your account. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Hello, Stephen. Welcome. Glad you're here. Here's my agenda for today, Monday, February 10th. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, events, and earnings for the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today. Then I'll take a look at the live market. If anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, when I get to the live market, please let me know, and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's get started with news items first. Let's take a quick look at the events calendar for this week. This is the Spotgamma homepage, dashboard homepage. I'm going to take a look at the events calendar. All right, so coming up this week, starting tomorrow, Jerome Powell will be testifying before Congress 10 a.m. Could be a market mover. Then on Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, CPI data comes out. And then again, Jerome Powell testifying before Congress 10 a.m. And then on Thursday, PPI data comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then finally, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, retail sales. Let's take a quick look at the earnings chart. And I found these stocks that report earnings the day after have made very good trades. I posted recently IBM and Amazon. So here's the earnings chart for the week. So Shopify, that reports tomorrow before the market opens. SMCI reports, very bullish day today. We'll take a look at SMCI. Vertiv Holdings, Robinhood, Reddit, Datadog, Applied Materials, DraftKings, Palo Alto Networks. So the 6 of the 7 of the Mag 7 stocks have reported earnings. NVIDIA has not reported earnings yet, but there are some earnings that could coming up this week that could be good trades. All right, so that is the economic data, events, and earnings for the week. All right, so let's move on to positional analysis now. I'm going to go to the S&P 500. This is the ES Futures and Bookmap. And before I take a closer look at the chart, and there are some key turning points here, I'm going to take a look at a higher time frame. Let's go to the SPX. This is a 1-day, 1-year chart. And SPX, this is a linear regression channel showing that SPX is still pretty close to the middle of that channel. And a little bit of a consolidation now. All right, so that is a really the gist here is the rally is still intact. All right, let's take a look now at a 30-day, 1-hour chart. And I've talked about this before, this 58.32 support level. Here's the final shakeout. And then now SPX has formed another downtrend line. Remember, there was a downtrend line before. Really no longer relevant. Acted as resistance, then support. All right, so new downtrend line. All right, let's take a look at the levels on this chart. First of all, the expected moves. Dashed purple lines showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. This is based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. Here's the lower and upper daily expected move, also based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX, again from last Friday. I do post those levels in Discord every day the evening before. All right, so now SPX is approaching the upper daily expected move. All right, let's take a look at the Spotgamma levels on this chart. These are the shown with the dark red lines. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. Here's the put wall at 5,900. That's the strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. Next level up is the absolute gamma strike. That's at 6,000. This strike with the largest absolute positive and negative gamma. That's where most of the gamma-weighted open interest is concentrated. Above that is the volatility trigger, key support level for today. Then a Spotgamma's proprietary gamma and volatility flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. In a positive gamma environment, like SPX is trading now, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. We'll take a closer look at gamma on the trace tool in just a moment. And then finally, the call wall is at 6,200. That's a strike with largest net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. And note there were no changes in these key daily levels from Friday. All right, for SPY, the volatility trigger and put wall both shifted lower, so slightly bearish shifts lower in the key daily levels for SPY, but none in SPX. All right, let's wrap up our view of SPX with a shorter term chart. Now we'll go to a one minute chart. Key support today. Here's the test of the volatility trigger at 60.45. Set up a great long. So that's the volatility trigger, 60.45. Here's the upper daily expected move. And note this 60.50 level. Price did not quite test that right around noon. So SPX reversed before it got down to the 60.50 level. But the key for today, again, is the support at the volatility trigger. All right, let's go to Bookmap now. So in Bookmap, I use the price lines add-on to show these levels on my chart. Here's the test of the volatility trigger just after the cash open. That is the SPX 60.45 volatility trigger. And today that ES to SPX offset is right around 22 to 22.5. So I'm using 22.5. So I'm showing SPX 60.45 at ES 60.67.5. And it did change a little bit later in the day, so we know from looking at the SPX chart that SPX did not quite reach that 60.50 level that was noted as support in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note. Both key levels for today. And then right around the SPY 605 level, acting as resistance. Price did move up a little bit above that level. There was a stop run up above that level. And then now that 605 level looks like it may be acting as a resistance. We'll take a look and see what options traders are doing in just a minute. All right, so again, key for today, 605 volatility trigger support level and great launching point for a long. We'll talk more about setups in just a few minutes. All right, let's take a look at Nasdaq now. Nasdaq, pretty similar chart. Let's take a look at the underlying index charts. First of all, QQQ. Support at the round number, right around the round number, 527. And then here's the key level for today as the call wall at 530, acting as resistance. And note that level did move down from Friday. So the call wall shifted down and the volatility trigger shifted down for QQQ. And for NDX, let's take a look at NDX. There were no shifts in levels. So key level for today is the 792 level right here, acting as resistance. That's right around the QQQ 530 call wall. And that is a combo 4 level. That is also the highest Spotgamma level that was shown on the Spotgamma dashboard. So no Spotgamma levels above sub 92. All right, back to Bookmap now. So just like the S&P 500 ES futures, I have key index levels on this chart. So there's the 527 level. And then up above the 530 call wall, there's a combo 3 level just above that. And then the NDX 21,792 combo 4 level. And that level ultimately acting as resistance. And now the call wall is acting as resistance. All right, so that's the Nasdaq levels in play. And again, QQQ, volatility trigger, call wall shifted lower, and there are no shifts in levels for the NDX. All right, let's take a look at Gamma. Let's wrap up our positional analysis. Let's take a look at Gamma. So this is market maker's position on the Gamma curve at the beginning of the day. And when I talk about the Gamma curve, this is what I'm talking about right here, the Gamma model. All right, this data here, this Gamma notional, this is static data. It's updated once a day. So this is market maker's position on the Gamma curve at the beginning of the day. It is changing during the day. So that's for the S&P 500, Nasdaq, and Russell 2000. Note all these numbers, with the exception of NDX, are negative. So again, remember, a negative Gamma environment, Spotgamma assumes that traders are long puts, market makers are short puts, hence the negative Gamma. They have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. And all those numbers did shift lower from Friday. So market maker's position on the Gamma curve at the beginning of the day was negative. Now let's take a closer look at a current view of Gamma. This is the trace tool. It's available to Spotgamma subscribers. Let's take a step back in time. So just after the market opened, so the blue zones are positive Gamma and the red zones are negative Gamma. And the key about positive Gamma is that we're looking for slower movement. And negative Gamma, we're looking for faster movement. So negative Gamma, higher volatility, and positive Gamma, lower volatility. All right, so this is at 940. Key was this test of the it's shown as hedge wall here, but that's the volatility trigger for an index. All right, let's step through time now. So the 60-45 volatility trigger holds, and now SPX starts to move into this blue positive Gamma zone above. Note the stability index, which was 23% at 940, is now up to 50%. All right, so note some still positive Gamma zone above. Sorry about that. Try that again. All right, so blue positive Gamma above and red negative Gamma below. All right, so that's the current state of Gamma. And note stability index has now dropped back down somewhere in the middle of the range today from 23% to 50%. All right, let's take a look at some setups now. And let's start with the S&P 500. And as always, I'm going to start by taking a look at what options traders have been doing today. And I'm going to start with so I'm going to show the hero signal. This is hedging impact real-time options. So we're moving now from static data to trace, which was almost real-time, to now actually real-time data with the hero signal, hedging impact real-time options. This is showing what options traders and market makers, hedging activity for the S&P 500 index components. SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. And the orange line indicates calls Rising orange line indicates traders are buying calls. Falling orange line indicates traders are selling calls. Market makers take the opposite side of those trades, and they hedge their delta exposure with ES futures. And for the blue line, a falling blue line indicates traders are buying puts. Again, market makers take the opposite side of those trades, and a rising blue line indicates traders are selling puts. So the directional line indicates delta notional. All right, so that is the index signal. There's another signal that we can take a look at for the S&P 500. This is the equity signal. Much more clear today. So what this is showing is a bullish opening drive, traders buying calls in the S&P 500 stocks. They're also selling puts. But the call buyers are definitely more aggressive today. When traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls. And they have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. And this is really what set up that very nice long, that reversal at the 60-45 volatility trigger. So let's take a look at that in Bookmap. So we know traders are buying calls in the S&P 500 stocks. And that is bullish. So now let's go zoom in on the ES chart in Bookmap. So we expect this level. Well, I expect this level, the volatility trigger, to act as support when tested from above. It did exactly that. And we know that traders were buying calls in the S&P 500 equities. So there's the, I guess, initial aggressive entry long. If you assume that level would act as support, which it did. Next entry pulled back down to VWAP. Then aggressive buyers start to come in. You can see all the green volume dots. A little bit of a pullback. And then aggressive buyers start to come in, green volume dots. Price moves up above 605. So this move higher was fueled by aggressive buyers. That's shown by the dark blue line, cumulative volume delta, as well as buy stop orders shown by the rising yellow line. Large traders were fading this move with iceberg orders. That is shown by the falling light blue line. All right, let's take a look and see what options traders are doing now. So they really continue to buy calls. Looks like the put line is flattened out. All right, so that is the equity signal. Let's check the index signal now. And when you're trading the S&P 500, you really need to check both. So just at the moment, traders have started to buy calls, and they're continuing to sell puts. All right, back to Bookmap. And prices responding, moving higher. And now cumulative volume delta is starting to move higher as well. You can see some larger green volume dots. Some aggressive buyers coming in, cumulative volume delta rising, and large traders continue to fade the move with iceberg orders they use to hide their size. All right, so that's the S&P 500. Any questions about that? Questions or comments about the S&P 500? Overall, the equity signal provided more clarity today, I thought. Let's go to the Nasdaq now. Similar chart. Let's see what options traders doing. Now, I thought the Nasdaq signal was not as clear today, but it looks like this is the index signal for Nasdaq, and call buyers in the index definitely driving price. So this is the, just like the S&P 500 index signal, this is the index signal for Nasdaq, showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for the index components that we looked at earlier, NDX and QQQ. Traders buying calls, driving price higher. Let's take a look at the Mag 7 signal. And here it becomes a little bit more clear. Call buyers in the Mag 7 stocks, driving price higher. A little bit of delayed opening drive, bullish opening drive, driving price higher. They take the foot off the gas, price consolidates. Then right around 12:30, started buying calls again, and price responding higher. All right, so we know that traders are buying calls and selling puts in the Mag 7 stocks. These stocks make a very large component of the Nasdaq and will drive price. So let's go to Bookmap now. Just like the S&P 500, large traders are fading this move with iceberg orders, and they're not getting their way so far. But it is options traders and aggressive buyers moving price higher. Nice pullback after the initial move lower. Aggressive buyers shown by the cumulative volume delta, the dark blue line, as well as buy stop orders shown by the rising yellow line. And good for a move of just a little bit less than 150 points in NQ, 150 NQ points. And again, the resistance levels that I talked about. The combo 4 level, NDX 792 combo 4 level, as well as the QQQ 530 call wall. So to move higher, NASDAQ has to move through that 530 call wall. All right, so those are the indexes. Any questions, comments about the S&P 500 and NASDAQ? All right, let's move on. Let's take a look at some stocks. First stock I want to take a look at is Apple. So let's go to Hero. Let's see what options traders are doing in Apple. And here I'm going to focus on Hero chart patterns, Hero patterns. These are patterns that repeat over and over again. And you can when you recognize these patterns, there's expected behavior when these patterns occur. For example, this call peak pattern here and here, and actually, let me zoom in. So there were actually 3 call peak patterns. And this is a very reliable short reversal or a bearish reversal pattern as traders aggressively buy calls and abruptly stop buying calls and start selling calls. And the expected behavior is that price will reverse lower. And that's exactly what happens. Again, a very reliable bearish setup with this call peak pattern. So that was at 9:35. 9:45, and right around 10:15. All right, so let's go take a look at Bookmap now. There's that first call peak, 9:35, 9:45, 10.15, and then finally price starts to move lower. So 3 short scalps in Apple here, and then finally the third one held and price moved lower. All right, let's go back to Hero now. Zoom all the way out. So again, 3 call peak patterns, bearish scalps. Now the Hero signals are pretty choppy, hard to interpret. Let's take a look at the total signal. Still pretty hard to interpret. All right, so that's Apple. Key there, call peak patterns, setting up 3 nice short scalps. All right, next stock I want to take a look at is Meta. Meta's been very strong recently. Let's zoom in a bit. So the clue here was the calls. Traders selling calls starting just maybe 2 minutes after the open. Just a few minutes later, they started buying puts. Price moves lower. Smaller peak patterns there, right around 10.05, and price moves lower. All right, let's take a look at Meta. We'll take a look at these 2 setups, one right after the open and one right around 10.05, 10.10. Back to Bookmap, Meta. Oops. There we go. First short setup. Meta makes a series of lower highs. Pretty wide range in these pullbacks. Note these red lines are at 5-point increments. Now Meta consolidating right around 7.15. All right, so that's Meta. Next stock, Microsoft. Right back. So this was really the pattern here, not real clear in this initial bearish opening drive, was a continuation, put and calls moving the same direction. That's pretty much been the case all day. So bearish continuation, bearish opening drive, bullish continuation, peak patterns, bearish continuation or momentum. That's when both the blue line, orange line moving the same direction. A little bit of bullish momentum, continuation, foot off the gas, call exhaustion. Then again, bearish continuation, blue line, orange line moving the same direction. And again, that's been the case most of the day. And this looks pretty bullish, bearish for Meta right now. Looks like a large block order. Could be an institutional kickoff. Large traders sell a large number of calls. Let's go back. Let's zoom in on this just a bit. All right, so it looks like the drop in calls and the drop in price happened simultaneously. Let's go to Bookmap. Meta already near the lows of the lows of the day. So we'll come back and we'll check on. I'm on Microsoft. Sorry about that. Go back to Meta. All right, so there's that drop. So there's still room to run down to 712, 711. Big drop in Meta. Aggressive sellers. I'd wait for a pullback and then a short. Maybe a pullback up to 715, then a short. We'll check back on that. All right, let's move on to Microsoft. Let's see what options traders are doing. Microsoft. Bullish opening drive. Took a few minutes for price to respond. Aggressive call buyers. Call exhaustion. And that fuel that was driving price higher is gone. And now Microsoft consolidates. Right now, the blue line, pretty flat. There are some call buyers coming back in. Pretty typical pattern here. Aggressive call buyers in the morning. Let me clear that. So steep call line in the morning. The slope starts to get lower and then finally flattens out. That fuel that was driving price higher is gone now. And the price either consolidates or reverses lower. Bullish opening drive. Let's go check. And then call exhaustion. And again, it was delayed a little bit. So there's that bullish opening drive. Initial slope very steep. Flattens out a little bit. High liquidity at 415. Consumed. Those orders were consumed. Call buyers take the foot off the gas. Price moves back down. All right, that's Microsoft. Let's check NVIDIA. Very strong bullish opening drive. Let's see what options traders are doing. Go to NVIDIA. Zoom in on this just a bit. Bullish opening drive. And traders continue to buy calls even as price starts to consolidate. And here right around 10:20, 10:25, they took their foot off the gas. So very bullish opening drive. Call exhaustion. Price doesn't really drop that much. Then call buyers come in again just before noon. Also put sellers. So traders are buying calls and selling puts in NVIDIA today. Let's go back to Bookmap. We'll zoom in. And you can see all the green volume dots up until about 10:30 or so. A lot of aggressive buyers, just traders buying NVIDIA with market orders. Pullback entries. Sometimes when this move is so fast, so strong, that the market pulse price change indicator is not going to mark every pullback entry. But there was the first one, second one, and that was the market pulse price change indicator did not go all the way down to the red extreme. But there's a very, very clear price targets. High liquidity at 132, 133. Those are limit sell orders. 134, and then finally at 135, the most liquidity. Again, those are limit sell orders shown by the heat map and Bookmap. All right, so NVIDIA is still hovering just below that high liquidity at 135, those limit sell orders. We'll keep an eye on that as well. All right, next stock, Tesla. Let's see what options traders are doing. NVIDIA and Tesla are two of the top stocks that are heavily driven by options trades. And, that's definitely evident today with both NVIDIA and Tesla. A little bit of a bearish opening drive. And options traders shift direction, and that is a bullish continuation momentum pattern. And then they take the foot off the gas right around 10:30, 10:30. Long consolidation. Looks like some call buyers are starting to come in. Let's zoom in on this just a little bit. So the call buyers and the put buyers have now, the call traders and put traders have gone in different directions now. So let's go take a look at Bookmap. All right, so there's that bearish opening drive. Then the shift in hedging flow to bullish. Long consolidation. And now that divergence between calls and puts. We'll see how that plays out. Let's go check on Meta. All right, there's that pullback to 715, not quite up to 715. Let's see what options traders are doing in Meta. Still pretty flat for the puts and calls. Right now, it looked like that 715 level that I mentioned before was a good entry point for a short. All right, back to Tesla. So we know that traders are starting to buy calls. For a potential reversal, let's draw a trend line here. So for a bullish setup would be looking for a break of that trend line. Let's go back to Hero. Let's shift to the total signal to get a better picture of who might be winning. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Go back to puts and calls. I've got another couple of stocks to take a look at. Palantir first. This has been in the news after earnings. Very bullish stock. A little bit of chop in the morning, and then price reversed higher. And it looks like, looks like in this case that the options traders are actually following price. Price starts to move higher. Traders start selling puts, then buying calls. Doesn't really matter as long as traders sell calls, buy calls and sell puts. Market makers take the opposite side of those trades, and they have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. So as price starts to move higher, we'll take a look at Palantir and Bookmap in just a minute. The options traders coming in, helping to fuel that move higher. All right, let's go to Palantir. So you can see the aggressive buyers starting to come in. They're already, let's zoom in on this. Cumulative volume delta was already rising. Aggressive buyers coming in. Then finally, price takes off. A lot of green volume dots. Nice 5-point move higher in Palantir. Up to the high liquidity at 115. Again, aggressive buyers, and then the options traders come in, helping to fuel that move higher. Now price consolidating. Let's go back and check Hero. Hero signals flattened out. And also cumulative volume delta has flattened out as well. So now more aggressive sellers have come in. You can see the pretty much even mix between magenta volume dots and green volume dots. Now maybe more aggressive buyers coming in. All right, that's Palantir. One more stock I want to take a look at, SMCI. Very bullish day here in SMCI. Let's go take a look at Hero. And SMCI, one of the stocks that does report earnings later this week. Consolidation in the morning. Call buyers come in right around 10:10. SMCI moves higher, and then call exhaustion. Call buyers take the foot off the gas just after 1 o'clock. Now price consolidating. So again, morning consolidation. Call buyers come in, price breaks above VWAP. Pull back entry here. Now consolidation as options traders have taken the foot off the gas. All right, let's check on our Tesla position or Tesla potential trade. There we go. Turn break. Traders are buying calls. Price moving higher. Let's check on Meta. Let's see what options traders are doing in Meta. So I would call that inconclusive at this point. Both lines pretty flat. All right, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Go back to Tesla. So it looks like that might have been a nice trend break long, at least for a scalp. Let's check the indexes now. S&P 500. Not making a lot of progress, but up toward the right at the highs of the day, just above that 605 level. Let's see what options traders are doing in the S&P 500. Check the index signal first. Continues to move higher. Flow alert, signaling significant options activity. Could be signaling a potential reversal in the hedging flow. Let's check trace. All right, so SPX now up in this lower end of this positive gamma zone, the blue zone. Let's check charm, see if we can identify a potential pinning target at the end of the day. And this would be the potential pin target right here. 60.75. That lines up with the strike here, the largest positive gamma, 60.75. And for the pin target, we're looking for this zone right here between blue buying support below and red selling pressure above. And it looks like these contour lines, these vortex lines, are leading right into that zone. And Kristen wants to take a look at Netflix. Sure. Now, I don't have Netflix and Bookmap, but we can take a look at Hero. See what options traders doing. A little bit of a pullback at the open. Then bullish continuation, kind of a delayed opening drive. And then pretty quickly, that act lasted for about an hour, from 10 to 11, and then exhaustion. Traders were selling puts and buying calls, and then exhaustion, now consolidation and Netflix. Typical pattern. Bullish opening drive to exhaustion and consolidation. S&P 500. All right, so SPX, this is the price on the left, not too far away from the 60.75 level. Looks like it may, yeah, pretty close, 60.72. So just 2.5 points away from that 60.75 charm pinning target. See what the equities signal is doing. Traders also buying calls. Go back to Bookmap. So it looks like the S&P 500 ES is definitely broken above the 605 level. Maybe acting as support now. Let's check some stocks that we took a look at before. Meta still struggling to get above the 715 level. When we zoom in on Meta, we can see the very wide bid-ask spread, typical of a higher price stock, not necessarily suitable for day trading shares anymore. Swing trading options, sure. Check Tesla, see how it's doing with that trend break. Let's see what options traders are doing in Tesla. Now, I hope you guys don't mind me jumping around so much. I'm just trying to keep track of several instruments. All right, back to Tesla. So question is this a trend break? Then maybe a retest here, VWAP, that light blue line, or is that just a little bit of a fake and a move lower? Looks like there are plenty of aggressive sellers right now with all the magenta volume dots. But we know that traders are buying calls. Back to Tesla. Traders buying calls. Put buyers have stopped. Traders buying calls. I'd want to see some aggressive buyers come in if I were looking for a long here. All right, any questions? Anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Let's check Nasdaq. Nasdaq has not quite made it up to the 792 level. That was the previous high of the day. Back to the S&P 500. So ES a little bit stronger this afternoon. Did trade above the previous high of the day. Hello, Floyd's Garage. Floyd's Garage wants to take a look at DD. Not familiar with that. Let's see if it's here in Hero. And Floyd's Garage, sorry, I don't see DD. Or does that mean day done? Are you looking for a stock? Not quite sure what that means, but I'm not familiar with that. Back to the S&P 500. And looks like maybe a call peak pattern. So potentially that flow alert was signaling a potential upcoming reversal in hedging flow. But for the pending target, we're looking at 60.75. SP equities. Call line is flattened out a little bit. Hello, Cal. Cal wants to take a look at Schlumberger. Not much options activity going on here. Slightly bullish day, choppy price action, but traders are selling puts and buying calls. WU. Sure, that's right. WUBAX. So sorry, WU, Western Union, and BAX are not in Hero. Hero, there are a limited number of stocks that are available in Hero. And from experience, I will tell you that the situations where Hero is most helpful, first of all, with the equity indexes, S&P 500, Nasdaq, very helpful, I think essential for trading again, S&P 500 and Nasdaq, also the Mag 7 stocks, and then some stocks, not every day, but some days, like after reporting earnings. Cloudflare on Friday, that was a very bullish opening drive, traders buying calls, set up a very nice long in net. Cloudflare on Friday. Let's check net today. It was moving higher earlier. So not as strong a signal today. These are pretty low delta notional. So that's less than 1 million. And traders are selling puts. A little bit, 6 million. But it was much stronger on Friday, just after reporting earnings. So Hero, again, it's available for a limited number of stocks, but most important, works very well for the equity indexes, S&P 500, Nasdaq, Mag 7 stocks, large cap tech stocks that have a high volume. And let's take a look at one thing real quick. Let me go to Evernote here. And I did a search in ChatBT for stocks with the highest option volume. So if you use Hero, and I think it provides a great confirmation, here's a list of stocks with the highest option volume. And you can see before stocks that I mentioned. Oops. NVIDIA and Tesla at the top of this list. This is the stocks with the highest daily options volume. And of course, stocks. We looked at Apple, Palantir, Meta today. So these are the stocks that are going to respond. Well, first of all, have the highest option volume, and price will respond to options traders' trades in these stocks very well. All right, any questions? Last call for stocks questions. Let's check. ES, now moving higher again. Resistance at the 605 level, now support. Let's check Meta. All right, so that 615 level did act as resistance. Entry point for short. Check Tesla. And Cal is asking about F. Not quite sure. Let's go back, and then we'll have to wrap it up. My time is up. Let's go back. So F is on the bottom of this list. So it is a fraction of. Oops. Options volume is a fraction of the stocks at the top of this list. We'll go to Hero and check it real quick. Then I'm going to have to wrap it up. Yeah, so not a whole lot here. All right, so everyone, I'm going to wrap it up here. My time is up. I want to thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your questions and comments. And remember, Jerome Powell testifies tomorrow at 10 a.m. Wednesday, big data release for the week, CPI data. Wednesday morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. then more Powell testimony at 10 a.m. And we'll talk about all of that on Wednesday at 1:30. So I hope to see you then. Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon, and I'll see you then. Bye.